if you had, man, this is a dark episode for Christmas, but when I was young, if you had a little bit of diarrhea, you know what I'm saying? Diarrhea. You know, when your booty's trying to attack you from everywhere, when your booty is angry at you. And if you had some of that when I was young, you wouldn't tell my brothers and sisters because they would try to tickle you. Because we had this thing in our house where if somebody had the big D, then other people would try to tickle them and make them real active and make them, lose it right there. So that was a very nefarious time. If you had it, you had it. I want to let you know that one time, this is many years ago, I was trying to go to an orgy in Los Angeles, like a sex orgy. And they made you audition to go to it. And I went to the audition and they said that I didn't have nice enough calves, that I don't have, I guess basically my cavalry isn't welcome at a group fuck, if you will, at group sex. And that kind of, you never really get that no out of your system. Go tickle somebody. Go tickle a motherfucker, honestly. I hate to use that language at this time of year, but go tickle a motherfucker. Because humans are one of the few animals that have the ability to jumpstart our own joy. And that's by tickling. Some animals, you see them, are different, species. They can't do anything. If they want to laugh, they have no recourse. They have no way to start that up themselves. You know what I'm saying? If you see a little, chimpanzee outside, well, they smile a lot. They smile. But if you see a different type of animal, an aardvark, a raccoon, an opossum, those motherfuckers ain't finding any joy. But imagine if you could go up and squeeze their sides and they started to laugh. Well, humans are the only species that have that built into them that we know of. So utilize that. Tickle somebody you love. Touch them, baby. Touch that little motherfucker. And make somebody feel good. Make somebody kickstart that joy. When I was young, we played, when I was young, I remember tickling was fun, but also, in our family, we was dangerous, and if somebody, especially, if you had, man, this is a dark episode for Christmas, but when I was young, if you had a little bit of diarrhea, you know what I'm saying? Diarrhea, when your booty's trying to attack you from everywhere, when your booty is angry at you. And if you had some of that when I was young, you wouldn't tell my brothers and sisters because they would try to tickle you. Because we had this thing in our house where if somebody had the big D, then other people would try to tickle them and make them real active and make them, lose it right there. So that was a very nefarious time. If you had it, you had to keep it a secret. So you had to be real secretive. And it's hard to have that, to possess that demon, that body demon, and also be secretive. Because, honestly, having diarrhea is kind of the opposite of keeping a secret. A friend of mine had a party, and or he went to a party, and he invited me. And I'm called a +1 at that point. They call you a +1. And the party, man, I'll be honest with you, not everybody at the party, but 92% of the party were homoerotic men. And look, some of them beautiful, some of them okay looking. But dude, it was just one of those things where I couldn't barely eat or look around the room really without locking eyes with a real bad boy. And sometimes, man, I feel like a gay guy can see all your secrets if they're looking at you. And that makes me feel sometimes kind of wild, And here's the thing. The main appetizer they had, soup. So, man, you trying to get some soup down and you got to put your lips out a little bit to get soup. Because soup is one of those things you almost have to meet it halfway. Some things you can just, whatever, but soup, you gotta make that little duck with your mouth and get out there and meet it halfway. And then at the end, they had a tray of sweets, like a sweet area. And it was a bunch of cream puffs. And I don't know if you've ever had cream puffs. It's cream basically hiding inside of a little bit of dough. And if you didn't know them, if you weren't familiar with cream puffs, you wouldn't know the cream was in them. Somebody has to tell you almost, hey, there's cream in there. And then you open one up or you bite into it and there is cream. But man, I had to go up over to that dessert area and they had a flock of dudes around that deal. And I got no issues with gay men. You know what I'm saying? I might be gay when I'm 70 or 80 or 90 or 100 and, or something, or 70. But, it's still, I'm a guy, so I know what guys are thinking about. And if I go by a guy and I'm trying to get a couple of cream puffs in me real quick without them noticing, but dude, a man can't eat a cream puff around a gay man without that man noticing. I mean, it's almost like he could hear every bite. And man, it was just tough. I've never.
Calling in after hearing you ask about experiences with animals during sex. So I've got a 6-month, 7-month-old pit bull, and my girlfriend and I always have a problem where if we decide to get it on, this dog straight up starts pulling blankets off with his paws. He can't control himself. He just starts going ham on her.
He wants to fuck, brother. I mean, if you're fucking, he wants to as well, brother. Onward.
Sometimes even me. I've had him literally lick my balls, lick her asshole, anything. He's fucking.
Did you have to say asshole? You could have just said ass. Let's hear more. Thank you for calling.
An animal.
He is an animal.
Literally.
Yeah.
It's hilarious, but it's also uncomfortable. I don't know what to do about it. 7 months old, and he's hornier than me. Anyway, love your shit, and appreciate listening to the podcast. First time calling in. Hopefully it gets on the show.
Yeah, it did get on, man, and thank you for calling in. And I'll say this, brother. Yeah, he's 7 months old. But imagine if you were 7 months old and could fuck like that dog can. Imagine that. Like when we're 7 months, we can't do anything. We can barely hold a titty. You could barely hold a titty in your mouth. But imagine that at 7 months, you can do work. And on 2 legs, a pit bull, it'll rip a kid's face off in Florida with one side of its body and fuck with the other. I mean, they're multifaceted. So just imagine that. And if you were 7 months old, imagine a 7-month-old baby that could fuck. It would be fucking everything, but it can't. God doesn't want to put that much power into a baby. If something were that cute and could fuck, everybody would fuck it. There's no hot chick out there that wouldn't honestly fuck a 7-month-old baby. My brother sometimes he has some tough moments sometimes when he looks at pictures of himself from being young and he's not happy in any of them. He's not smiling. He's not showing any emotion. And so I got him this year. I got him a little jacket or a little sweat jacket, not a sweater, but a soft hoodie. And it says Kid Dynamite on it. And it's nice. It's a cool piece from this company, Roots of Fight. And they have some really neat stuff, actually. And, but, I saw that and I just told him, I said, hey, and it was hard. I told him, I said, hey, this is, I know sometimes you don't know if you were, a fun kid or not, or if you were having fun when you were a kid. So I got you this because I wanted you to, to think that you were. And it was funny because that was my plan. And then I gave him the gift. And right before I was going to give it to him, I'm like, man, I'm not going to say all of that gay shit, I ain't saying that shit to the dude. I'm just going to give him the damn, jacket piece. But I said it. I didn't really say it as direct as I wanted to. I kind of said it not in passing, but, he was sitting down and I was standing up and there was a lot of commotion in the room. But I did say it and I made sure that he heard me and just let him know. So I think something like that, no matter what you're doing, make sure your message is heard. If you just try to call him, you can try to make efforts, but sometimes, to call him, every once a week or to spend time doing that kind of stuff, or maybe make a plan to visit. But I think just letting him know straight up, I'd love to have more of a relationship with you. What do you think we can do? And that's mano y mano. And right there, he's probably going to feel a lot of respect for you, even just as a man. And especially since he's a little bit older than you. But I wish you the best with that. And I think the fact that you're even calling, you even care that much, that's good stuff. Because brothers can do a lot of things to each other that other people can't. You know? I mean, who else really can honestly tickle the diarrhea right out of you? And that's a brother. That's a brother that can do that. Y'all could also get matching hats or do some shit like that, like they do like